Hello.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Faculty of Sports Virtual Open Day and to the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies. My name is Christine Nanton, and I'm the Manager of Marketing and Communications here at UB St. Augustine, and I will perform the duty of host to navigate you through our proceedings this evening. Thank you all for taking the time to spend with us this evening and for giving us the opportunity to share more about this great West Indian tradition called the UWI, and more specifically, the Faculty of Sport through the Academy of Sport here at St. Augustine. I want to remind you, of course, at this time that you may submit your questions anytime during this live session utilizing the chat box. And be sure to let us know where you're locked on from, whether it be Trinidad and Tobago or Caribbean Isles or further afield. And so I know that we've just opened the session and some persons are still joining, but of course we want to keep to time this evening and we want to jump right into the program. So let me just give you an idea of how this evening's program will flow. We will begin with brief remarks by the Dean of the Faculty, and then we will move into the learning bits about the St. Augustine Academy of Sports, and then the programs of study and other activities that are available on our campus, and what it's like to be part of the Academy, after which we will transition into the Q&A section. And to start us off this evening, I invite Dr. Akshai Mansingh, who is Dean of the Faculty of Sport, to welcome you to his faculty. Dean, over to you.
Thank you very much, Christine, and welcome to all the attendees. Welcome to the virtual Open Day of Faculty of Sport. And as you are probably aware, this is the newest faculty that exists at St. Augustine. We're now 3 years in our existence. But it's a unique faculty because we actually are present on every campus as a unified faculty. And so as Dean, I'm sitting here in Kingston, Jamaica, speaking to you, very much part of the St. Augustine Academy of Sport. Now, each campus has an Academy of Sport. And the aim of the academies is to mix academics in sport with sports and sporting activities. And so at the St. Augustine Academy of Sports, we cater to those athletes who want to play sports at whichever level. And we cater to those academics who want to play at sports. So those who want to do support work in sport, those who want to look at sport management, those who want to look at coaching, kinetics, any aspect of sport, we want to cater to all people interested in sports or those playing sports, and of course, especially to those who want to do both. Now, at the Cable Academy, at the St. Augustine Academy, you'll hear that we have programs running from certificates, which allow you to matriculate into bachelor's programs, straight up to masters, and we even in the faculty have MPhil and PhD programs. And we actually do have people from Trinidad enrolled in PhD programs in sport. But our focus at St. Augustine is on our certificate programs and the bachelor programs, especially the Bachelor of Sport Kinetics that you're going to hear a bit more about going forward. The unique thing about our faculty is that we can, because we offer these programs across all our campuses, can give you the best of lecturers from across the region and even outside of the region. And what you're going to find in this new dispensation with the COVID, post-COVID way of teaching is that you'll probably see that a lot of the courses will be taught not necessarily by or in Trinidad, but you'll have the best of the lecturers teaching from another territory into Trinidad, and we'll have the best of our Trinidadian lecturers teaching not only in Trinidad, but to students on the other campuses. And so that allows us to give you the best and the highest standard of teaching in whichever programs that you enroll in. Just to give you a few more things about our academic programs in the faculty, we actually do offer a double degree, currently out of Cave Hill, but you're going to hear about this spreading across at a master's level. So we currently offer a master's in sports science with the University of New Brunswick in Canada. And when you finish that degree, you actually get a UWI master's degree and a degree from University of New Brunswick. And we're looking for partnerships like that going forward. And this will be available at St. Augustine, hopefully in the near future as well. The other unique thing about our faculty is it allows students to move seamlessly from one campus to the other. And we've even had students last year move from Cave Hill to St. Augustine because they were from Trinidad. They'd gone to Barbados and they figured they'd be better off studying in Trinidad, so they stayed at home. And we've had a few who've started off in Trinidad and gone to other islands. So it gives you that mobility without losing any credits or losing any time in pursuing your academics. On the sports side, UE Spec and the grounds, that is the cricket ground, rugby grounds, etc., are among some of the best facilities in Trinidad and Tobago, especially when you put behind it the staff that goes with it. We offer opportunities to our students. We have partnerships with the Caribbean Premier League. We have partnerships with many national sporting organizations throughout the region. And we have our own unique teams like the combined campuses and colleges, which plays cricket as a unified team. And we're looking to expand that into football and other sports. We've been invited as a combined UE team to compete in the Canada Games next year. And so that will give opportunities for those of you who want to compete at sports outside of the region. Also, we have opportunities for internships if you're not competing, but to actually take part in things like CPL, maybe not this year where it's going to be very restricted, but in the future and other events that take place. So what we're doing is opening opportunities to our students, not just for what we do at University of the West Indies, but what we do in the region. And you'll find that if you do join our programs in the faculty, you'll find that our staff at UE Spec are very student-oriented. Our academy is student-centric, and our faculty is very student-responsive. And therefore, we want to look after any needs that you may have while offering you the best that sport and academics can offer. And with that, I hand you back to our moderator. And of course, you'll hear a lot more about our programs, and we hope to field your questions as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean Mansingh. And of course, thank you for setting the stage for us this evening. What I want to add is that I know that we may have some persons joining us this evening who are interested in some of the postgraduate courses, specifically those under the FIFA CIES program. And these courses are offered under the Faculty of Social Sciences. And I want to make a plug here that if there are participants who'd like to learn more specifically about those programs, you can join us for tomorrow's session, which is being hosted by the Faculty of Social Sciences. There's still time to register, and you can do that on our website at sta.ub.edu/virtualopenday. And so at this point, I'm happy to introduce you now to Professor Emeritus Funzo Ayagina, who is head of the Academy of Sport here at St. Augustine. And he will talk to us a bit about the highlights of the Faculty of Sport and also careers in sport. Professor Ayagina, welcome.
Thank you very much, Christine. And thank you, Dean, for setting the ball rolling. The St. Augustine campus, which is the latest of the academies, as the Dean has indicated, we are very proud of a number of things. And the first thing that I think any new student will appreciate when they get to us is the fact that we have a happy family as an academy, very friendly staff members, very supportive staff members. And we're going to see some of them later this evening talking to us about our events and our programs, so that it is a place where young people can grow. It is a place where mature people can even mature further and interact with a cross-generational set of students. So I really would like to recommend that you come to the St. Augustine Academy of Sport. And as the Dean has said, we also have the opportunity to interact with the other academies. We have the greenest spaces on campus. In this period of COVID, where you need to be outside a lot more so you can get a lot of sunlight and a lot of fresh air, Academy of Sport is where you need to be. So you can do your studies in the classrooms and go out and do the practice of whatever sport you are involved in. So we are the place to come to. We also happen to be the place where we have an Olympian in the person of Grace Jackson, who is an elite athlete, and who I'm sure a lot of younger athletes, upcoming athletes, and scholars of the field of sport will want to interact with, speak with, and so in order to get an insight into what it takes to build, to create an Olympic champion, or to become an Olympic champion. But I think the most enticing thing about the St. Augustine campus, apart from the facilities, the great facilities that we have and that the Dean has spoken about, the most exciting thing for me about the St. Augustine campus is the fact that anybody coming on board now is coming on board at the foundational level, and we have the opportunity to help us shape the academy into a particular image that they will want to see for the nation and for the region. They will have the opportunity to contribute their own ideas to the development of the academy. So at the end of the day, the academy we are building at the St. Augustine campus is one that has the views and vision of members of staff as well as the students. So we are going to be building it together. There is not going to be a situation of a builder and an onlooker. We are all going to be builders. And it will also mean that anything that we are doing, we will have to rely heavily on the volunteerism of our students. So students who are inclined to become volunteers and who are inclined to be socially conscious and socially aware, the Academy of Sport is where to come to, because you will be there ready and able to help us achieve all our dreams and your dreams, because we are putting everything into the mix. And we look forward to welcoming as many of you to the St. Augustine campus as possible. And those of you who want to do programs in sport that we do not offer at the St. Augustine campus, please feel free to go to Barbados, to go to Mona, to go to the open campus. We are one big happy family and we work together. So with that, I welcome all of you, and I look forward to welcoming you in person when you do become a registered student of the St. Augustine campus. Thank you very much, Christine. Over to you.
Thank you, Professor Ayagina. And, after that presentation, I hope that our participants this evening, they get a little bit more insight and understand a bit more clearly how impactful and dynamic the Academy is, and that, they're stepping in the right direction by joining us today. The St. Augustine Academy of Sport is responsible for the delivery of all the academic programs offered at the St. Augustine campus. And they also oversee the Sport and Physical Education Center. And we wanna engage our participants a little bit, and we wanna find out a bit more about you. So we're gonna run a quick poll, which our participants should see on their screens pop up. I'm gonna leave that for just a couple seconds so we can get to know you a little bit better and get to know what your interests are. And so we want to know if you participate in any sport or physical activity through a club, how often, and what area of study that you're interested in, whether it be coaching or sport kinetics. So we're looking forward to your responses, which of course is going to guide our conversation this evening, because that's what it's really about. It's about hearing from you, hearing what you're interested in and how we can guide you along that journey, because we're really looking forward to welcoming you as part of our UE community. Right, and so I see, most of our participants this evening, they do participate in a sport through a club daily. They've been really committed to your sporting area. And most of our participants this evening are actually interested in the sports kinetics program. So that, that's interesting to know. And of course, we do have those who are as well interested in the coaching aspect of it. So thank you so much, participants, for indulging us a little bit this evening. And, in these uncertain times, I'm sure that you all have wondered about how the field of sport may be impacted, and the call for, as we have to maintain physical distancing and, adhere to all of the guidelines. And so our next presenter, who I'm so thrilled to have with us this evening to join the cast, is Mr. Daren Ganga, who is the project officer at the Academy of Sport, and he is going to give us his perspective on the future of sport. Daren, welcome. Daren, we are actually not hearing you. Just adjust your microphone.
Sure. Thank you, Christine. Good afternoon, everyone. And first, like I said before, I'd like to thank Dean Mansingh and Professor Ayagina for their presentations before. It's always an exciting opportunity for me to address young participants, and I do so as part of the One UE family. As Christine mentioned, I'm a projects officer in the Dean's office, and I'm so thrilled to be working in sport and education, because I'll share a personal story. Many of you would know me for my exploits on the cricket field, but one of the highlights in my life is my ability to persist with my academic sort of goals that I had for myself. And I'm proud to say that, that sort of effort and passion has served me well in terms of my life after sport. So I speak to you from the point of view of, yes, one, being in the UE family, and two, being someone who years ago sat just like you wandering out into the open world and thinking about what the future holds for me. So I can very much relate to what all of you are going through right now mentally. Before I start to talk about the Academy of Sport at the St. Augustine campus, I must also make mention of how great the institution is. That's the University of the West Indies. It's a university that is amongst the top 600 universities in the world, and that is very significant. In our part of the world, in Latin America, we're within the top 40 universities in this region as well. So that alone shows the quality of the institution and the quality of the education you would receive if you are to come on board and partner. And that's what we're very keen about. We're very keen about you guys joining or considering the programs that we have within the Academy of Sport at the St. Augustine campus. And you know, it's an opportunity that you can just take for granted, because I could rewind the years. In the 1990s, I harbored dreams of studying at the University of the West Indies, but back then, programs didn't allow the flexibility for me to study and to pursue my dreams of playing international cricket. So here it is before you. I'm really proud of this new faculty of sport. I think it's been long in coming, because what it does, it offers an opportunity for people like me. When I started out my journey as a professional in sport, it offers you to carry both, to develop your extracurricular talent, and also as well to pursue your academic interests. And you know, Professor Iagino spoke about the programs on offer at the Academy of Sport in St. Augustine. And you know, let's face it, we all are sport consumers. In some form or fashion, we interact with sport. And I saw there in the poll that all of you had some sort of interaction with sport. And why sport is so exciting is because it's dynamic, it's evolving, it captures a lot of people's interests, and there are millions of opportunities for all of us professionally to work, if not play, in sport. So today, I'd really just like to share 3 major points. But before I do so, if you ask me to talk about sport on January 1st, 2020, my presentation would have been a lot different to what I have to say now. We all are very familiar with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and how that has impacted sport, and not only sport, how that has impacted life in general. Because, you know, from a mental point of view, a lot of people were challenged during this period of, I would say, inactivity. From a health perspective as well, we all were challenged because we were very much concerned about catching this virus and going through that risk of losing life. And then apart from that personal sort of risk, we saw the impact on social life. We saw the impact of this COVID-19 pandemic on global economy, and how that has sort of sent a lot of economies into a depressed state. So the world is trying to recover from this impact, but what I must say is it's not been all doom and gloom. I've had the chance to interact with quite a number of athletes, and many of whom were preparing for the Olympics. And there were mixed sort of reviews in terms of this COVID-19 pandemic period of inactivity. Some athletes felt that it gave them an opportunity to focus and to understand what was very important. Some athletes found themselves wanting in terms of not being able to concentrate, not being able to focus, not being able to preserve a routine that did bring them a lot of success in the past. So what I must say, and it's the first point that I'd like to make about sport, sport offers you the opportunity to improve, if not, improve, identify at the very basic your unique selling point as a person. So no matter what program you enter, whether it's a bachelor's program or a certificate program, for you to be successful, for you to move forward and make positive progress in life, there must be an attitude behind that. And for you to develop that attitude and the right attitude to receive success, I think you have to to understand what is your unique selling point as a person, what it is that will drive you every single day to be the best that you can be, what it is that will be able to differentiate you as a person. Say, for example, if you join the Bachelor's in Sport coaching program at the Academy of Sport in St. Augustine. I know many of you listening on, you harbor thoughts and dreams of being a coach in a particular discipline. What you must do is see yourself not just as a coach in your community or in your national setup. You must see yourself as a coach in the global context, because that's how sport is. Very much globalized, very much a thriving industry. Yes, this COVID-19 would have impacted it negatively overall, but I'm sure in time to come, you would see that recovery happening. And you can tell we're already seeing various disciplines and tournaments coming back in stream, and you will continue to see that as we move into the future. So my message today, as we talk a little bit about being a game changer, sport is the ideal platform for you to bring your potential to the fore and to realize that potential and to be that game changer. So my first message to you is to understand what is your unique selling point, what you would like your unique selling point to be. And I can tell you, if you're a sport consumer, you would obviously be thinking about joining the programs that are on offer here at the Academy of Sport in St. Augustine. The second thing I'd want to talk to you a little bit about is your career path. I know many of you still, you know, in this transition of wanting to know or trying to identify what you would like to spend most of your time doing going into the future. I would like to share a simple story with you. I had this great desire of playing professional sport and playing cricket. And I harbored those dreams since I knew myself. I was able to realize that at the age of 18, I started playing international cricket for the West Indies. But what I also did when I achieved that is I recognized that there is also life there's life beyond sport. And there's also an opportunity whilst you're in your mainstream career for you to cultivate something that will probably be of value to you into the future. And I just make reference to my own personal story. While I was playing, numerous times I would be given the opportunity to mic up, as they say, and to speak and to talk to the spectators while the game is going on. I'll also have the opportunity to go into the commentary box and speak a little bit about insights into the team, you know, the pulse of the team, the mood of the team. And I took those opportunities in good spirit. Lo and behold, beyond my career, commentary is something that I find myself transitioning easily towards. Now, if you rewind 10 years ago, and my attitude was one where I strictly focused on my core business, which was playing the game, I might not have sort of nursed myself into doing something else other than my core business, so to speak, or what I was truly and deeply passionate about. So the message that I'm sending to you is you might have a passion in coaching, you might end up in sports science, or you might end up in another sort of niche in sport. Don't close your mind off to opportunities as you progress in a career in sport. Always keep your mind open. Sport is very dynamic, like I said before. It's very unique and it's evolving every single day. So you got to stay with the pulse of sport. And when I say pulse of sport, I say pulse of sport globally. And there is no better place to do so than at the Faculty of Sport through the academies that we have across the Caribbean landscape. So that's my second point that I'd like to share with you. The last and final point, it kind of leads into what I started talking about in terms of research, in terms of you seeing yourself as a global citizen, understanding that in order for you to achieve the type of success that you're comfortable with, it will require you to go through periods where you will fail, where you will stumble, where there will be challenges that will test you. But that is not an opportunity for you to give up. That is not an opportunity for you to throw in the towel, so to speak. You have to maintain that attitude of wanting to be a game changer. I always believe that there is always an avenue for you to measure things that you do. It's as simple as measuring the time that you spend every single day. We have 24 hours in a day. We're sleeping for part of those 24 hours. And then there is an opportunity for you to use your time. There is a favorite tagline that I tend to use and put at the forefront. It goes like this: things that you can't measure, you will struggle to manage. And I say that again, things that you cannot measure in your life, you will struggle to measure. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is make sure that you're able to measure the time that you dedicate toward things that you do in your life. The reason why this faculty of sport was developed, it was developed to provide opportunities for all of you young persons. If you can dedicate your time towards one of the programs on offer at the Academy of Sport in St. Augustine, then I'm sure you will be in a better position to manage yourself. You'll be in a better position to enhance your unique selling point. And don't think about it as a one-off. Think about your development, your upskilling as a person, as a work in progress, because that is what you will have to do in the world today to keep ahead of the game and to continue being a game changer. So with those few words, I hope that I've in some small way motivated you to dedicating some amount of your time towards sport, towards the offerings at the Academy of Sport at St. Augustine, because it can only enhance your success in the future. It can enhance your development as a young person. It can open doors to many opportunities. There's a myriad of opportunities in sport, and what the University of the West Indies is doing through its Faculty of Sport is providing the platform for you, persons out there, to sign up, to upskill, to build your capacity, and to be a successful human being in the future and possibly serve sport. So with those few words for the question session, thank you very much for listening, and back over to you, moderator.
Thank you, Daren. For what was really a deeply personal presentation. And for those of you who knew you solely in professional cricket, I think we really got the chance to learn more about you and the skills that you learn through your craft that, propel your career. So thanks for that. And just as the Dean and Professor Ayagina, who went before you, demonstrated, sport is so diverse. And, what we're seeing now is really the new frontier of sports. I mean, with all the different innovations that are happening. I looked on, interestingly, at some of the major football leagues that have restarted with the restrictions. And, it's so wonderful to see what I feel like is really the persevering nature of sports and the dedication of the athletes and the administrators to the profession, and which is really a profession that all of our participants joining us today want to be a part of. And so we're gonna go through our program once more. Up next, we will hear from Mrs. Ria Cromwell, who is the Administrative Assistant for HR and Academic Matters at the Academy of Sport. And she's gonna tell us a little bit more about the programs themselves that are on offer and how our participants this evening can qualify to study with the Academy. Over to you, Ria.
Good evening to all our viewers. At the Faculty of Sport St. Augustine campus, the Academy of Sport offers a certificate program in the Art and Science of Coaching and 2 Bachelor of Science degree programs, BSc Sport Coaching and Sport Kinetics. The Art and Science of Coaching program is a part-time program. It's only available part-time. The duration is 1 year over 3 semesters. The BSc Sport Kinetics and Sport Coaching program are available both full-time and part-time. The full-time program is 3 years and the part-time program is 5 years. The entry requirements for the certificate program: applicants must have at least 3 CXC passes, grades 1 and 2, pre-1998, or grades 1, 2, or 3 after June 1998. Applicants may also apply with O-level grades A to C, GCE, including mathematics and English. For the BSc programs, applicants must have at least 5 CXC CSEC passes in general proficiency, grade 1 or 2 before 1998, or grades 1, 2, or 3 after June 1998. GCE or levels grades A to C will also be accepted. Again, applicants must have mathematics and English. Applicants also need to have at least 2 2-unit CAPE subjects or the approved equivalent. The associate degree, diploma, or certificate with a GPA of at least 2.5 will also be accepted if the applicant does not have CAPE. There are modified entry requirements in response to COVID-19. If you are a CAPE student whose exams were affected by COVID-19, the minimum criteria for entry are passes in at least 2 CAPE subjects, either at Unit 1 or Unit 2, grades 1 to 4 would be accepted, and also the requisite CSEC CXC subjects, and the student must be currently registered for either CAPE Unit 1 or 2. How can you apply? You can apply online via the university's website, sta.uwi.edu/apply. Please remember, all certificates and supporting documents must be uploaded at the time of application. The deadline for application is July 10th, 2020. The university has waived the application processing fee that would normally be required until further notice. So feel free to apply without bearing any cost. Cost of the programs: the certificate program in the Art and Science of Coaching is $4,100 TT per year. The Bachelor's Sport Kinetics and Sport Coaching program, both programs would cost $60,000 total. This will be spread over a 3-year period for full-time and 5 years for part-time. The compulsory fees of the university is $1,465 per year. This is applicable to all students. Thank you so much for your attention, and we look forward so much to welcome you.
Thank you, Ria, for that important presentation, which really gave the details in terms of the administrative side, what you need to qualify. And so what I want to add is, for some of our participants who may want to reach Ria directly to get a bit more information, she can be reached via her email, which is Ria, that's ria.cromwell@sta.ue.edu. And I know that our moderators will place that email for you in the chat. So you can feel free to reach out to Ria for any questions that you have that may not be specifically answered tonight. And so, of course, I do encourage you to continue asking your questions in the chat, and we will get to them during our Q&A session. So thanks again, Ria. So for participants, when you study at the Faculty of Sport, you are exposed to more than just your program of study. And so our next presenter is here to tell you more about what you can look forward to experiencing, because of course, you know, sport is so diverse and there's always a flurry of activity happening. And so I want to hand over now to Mrs. Nadra Dwarika-Baptiste, who is the Administrative Assistant for Facilities and Events. Nadra, good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Nanton. Good evening to all our viewers. Well, you've just heard all about the academic aspect of the Academy of Sport. Academic studies involve the ability of the brain to capture, store, and process information. And over the years, research has shown that sporting activity has helped to improve the cognitive and memory function of the brain. In addition, sports and health are connected, as research has also shown exercise and sporting activities reduce the likelihood of getting chronic diseases such as obesity and heart disease, among others. At the Academy of Sport, we strive to offer programs that promote a sound mind in a healthy body. And to do that, we have an array of recreational and wellness activities, as well as competitive sporting activities. For those of you who prefer the less competitive arena, the recreational activities we have available are swimming, karate, badminton, aqua aerobics, Zumba, spin, stretch, and relaxation. Now, for those athletes out there who wish to participate in competitive sports and push on to performing at the national and regional levels, we currently offer 10 sports that could help you achieve your goal and become game changers that impact the future of the sporting landscape. Those sports, which cater to both male and female, are cricket, football, basketball, track and field, hockey, tennis, table tennis, volleyball, swimming, and netball. We only have netball for the ladies right now, but we're going to get the men on track. Now, I know you're probably thinking, university team sports? I'm not too sure. Well, let me tell you something. Our sporting programs feature top-class coaches who have paved the way for athletes to lay the platform to achieve athletic excellence in the medium to long term. Working right here with our sporting programs at the Academy, we have former national sprinter Jamal James as our track coach, World Masters champion Joyce Thomas as our field event coach, Stephanie Power, former West Indies captain, as our women's cricket coach, swim coach Maurice Faria, who's the coach for the national swim team, and Althea McCullin, former national netball player and current national netball coach. So you see, we have quite a high caliber of coaching staff. Now, let me give you some brief highlights and achievements aided by our sports programs. It's not students just come and participate. We do achieve quite a lot. We accomplished 2 major feats in track this past year. The UE men's track team qualified for the Penn Relays in Pennsylvania, USA, which was supposed to be held in March 2020. Our student sprinter, Ayodele Taft, defeated the #1 ranked Jamaican national sprinter in the 100-meter dash at the UE Games last year. Now, this is really phenomenal because we know that Jamaicans are known for their prowess on the track. In cricket, which was a program recently restructured, we saw our women's cricket club capture 2 titles within the last year and a half, the T10 and T20. And also this year, the team achieved the elusive goal of advancing to the Premiership Division, where their performances will be more visible to national selectors. In the men's category, student Yannick Utley is now the captain of the national cricket team, which we know as the Red Force, and student Amir Django was selected to the CPL team, Trinbago Knight Riders. In the hockey arena, we have the student trio of Linda Bayer, Daniel Bayer, and Jordan Renos. Well, they were selected to the men's national hockey team and also to participate in the now postponed Summer Olympics. The female things of the hockey, the student trio of Rayanne Bristol, Nicolette Osborne, and Tia Bruno selected to train with the under-21 women's squad. 2 of our student athletes from this very campus have received the UE Vice Chancellor Sportsman and Sportswoman Awards of the Year within the last 2 years. So last year we had Jordan Renos for hockey, that's 2019, and Brittany Joseph in 2018. She features in table tennis. And lastly, before I go, let me tell you the great perks of being a student athlete. You get free massages, you get free use of the gym, free physiotherapy advice, and of course, world-class coaching at no cost. I now hand back over to our moderator, Ms. Nanton.
Thank you so much, Nadra, for giving us a little bit more about the kinds of activities that persons can expect. And of course, we may have participants who are on the call with us this evening who might say, well, with COVID, can we really anticipate that level of activity? And I just want to go back to what Daren was sharing and with all the innovations that are happening. Our campus can be a catalyst as well for some of the changes that we could expect in sports. So our new students, you know, we want to encourage you to be that pioneer, be the person who may say, okay, we have restrictions, but for my area, you know, I really want to implement something new. I want to change the way something is done, and I really want to pave the way for what that future of sports is going to be like. So, you know, I really hope that Nadra's presentation was helpful, and, you know, this information is going to better aid your decision to choose UWI and, of course, choose the Academy of Sports. And to transition us a bit to hear a bit more of the student voice, we have our Guild faculty representative for the Academy, Ms. Candice Joseph. She's on the call with us this evening, and Candice will share with you a bit about her student experiences at the Academy. Candice?
Hello, good evening. Thank you, moderator. Hello to the panel and all attendants. Ooh, as a student, it is wonderful. The sport faculty is still in its infancy, as you would have heard, but it's excellent coming in at this point. All right, you have just said, we have the ability right now to pioneer, to change things as it's happening. Sport is very dynamic. And as you come in, you may be in your comfort zone in whatever sport or whatever sport you're interested in. In the academy, in the faculty right now, I am doing the BSc in sport kinetics, which is lovely. You come in and you meet other students, different students from different backgrounds, and you learn to manage your time. You learn to be savvy with media, presenting in classrooms. And it's not just classroom work, but now we also have a lot of practical work where you go out and you're interacting. It's very interactive. The staff at the faculty, like Professor Eugenia said, it's like a family. You have an issue and you walk into the office and you will be welcomed and your issue will be addressed. They just make it easier. I want you to remember also that the opportunities that we're going to be that are offered as a student, it's endless. It's endless. When you come in, we're now starting up our clubs. And again, we're still in the infancy stage. So we now, as the game changer, we are actually developing what is going to be happening on campus for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road, whatever, 10 years down the road, whatever happens, it's going to have started now. We are making history on the campus. We have so many, as Nadra would have said, activities as well. As you come in and you're exposed to it, the coaches there are welcoming. They want you to participate. Your lecturers are wonderful. When you first start in your first year, your first semester, one of your first courses is the origins of, or the history of sport. And it's not just local sport, but it's global sport. And there are things that we take for granted. We try to separate sport from the rest of academia, but it isn't. They're intertwined. And whatever you learn in sport, you'll be able to take with you to the rest of your life and apply. Another course that I find very exciting is the sports and exercise psychology. And it's sport, but here it is, you have the opportunity to understand the athlete and how to motivate athletes, but it's also changing self and developing self as we go forward. Anatomy, and I could call so many courses that you may come in and feel a bit intimidated by just the names, but the lecturers, when you come in, they greet you in such a way and they make it such that you want to learn. You can come in tired after a day and sit down and your lecturer puts up a slide and immediately the light bulb goes off in your head and you want to participate. all right? They motivate you, they challenge you, not just to accept what is being said, but they challenge you to think, critical thinking. Just as what is happening on the field of sport, of any sport, it's also happening in the classroom. So I invite you to come in, to sign up from the certificate program, which is the Art and Science of Coaching, to the degree program. You will be so satisfied. You will be so satisfied even, and they tell you, or they show you the opportunities in sport, in careers in sport. You think it's so limited, but when they're finished explaining and when they're finished talking and teaching, you see the endless careers in sport, from coaching to media, from physiotherapy to medical. Join us. St. Augustine is the place to be. Faculty of Sport is the place to be. You want to change sport in Trinidad and Tobago, the region, internationally. You want to be a game changer. This is the place to be. Thank you, moderator. Thank you, everyone. And I look forward to seeing the new students. I look forward to interacting. I look forward to you joining our clubs and to bringing your ideas and your views to this. Thank you again. Moderator, over to you.
Candice, thank you so very much for that, real first-hand account of what it's like to be a student in the academy. And I think what you've given us this evening is an appreciation of, again, not just the diversity of the program, but the fact that, it's a program that is progressive. It's a program that really caters to the needs of our students. So I really want to thank you so much for that. And at this point, we're actually going to go to hear from another student. We'll now show a short clip from a former student of the coaching program, Mr. Michael Cromwell. So let's hear what he has to say.
Sport makes life move. Coaching converts that movement into a thrilling event experienced live and preserved for posterity. Like gifted athletes, most modern jets can literally fly themselves, but without the skill, knowledge, and experience of the pilot, the latest technology can't take you through a mid-air crisis and get you safely to your destination. That's why I enrolled in the Art and Science of Coaching program at UWI St. Augustine. I decided to be a game changer in the lives and performance of the athletes in my charge. I've successfully coached at various levels locally and internationally in many disciplines, including martial arts and disability sports, because there I gained the training necessary to make that difference. So stop dreaming and get enrolled now at the Faculty of Sport, St. Augustine, and become a game changer.
Thank you so much to Michael, who unfortunately was not able to be here in person, but felt that he needed to lend his voice, needed to share from his personal experience. So of course, we're really grateful to have had that clip from him. And so of course, for those of you who are interested in the coaching program, I'm sure that you will indeed encouraged by what he shared. As we transition now to our question and answer segment, which I know a lot of our students were looking out for, there were a lot of great questions being asked. I'm seeing a lot of activity happening in the chat. And of course, our chat moderators are going to be sharing specific email addresses and information with you to be able to reach out to all of the persons who are on our panel this evening, as well as wider. I also just want to take the opportunity to share just some additional overarching information. Of course, this session this evening follows sessions that have been happening all week. We had sessions targeting undergraduate students and postgraduate students. And of course, we've now transitioned into the faculty sessions, and this is the second in the series. And for those of you who may have joined us earlier in the week, thanks for coming back on with us this evening and hearing more about the Faculty of Sports. And I just want to share a couple of things with you in the regard of just what's happening within the university to address some of the questions you may have. And so firstly, of course, we are planning for September start. but we anticipate that teaching will be done as a hybrid, a mixture of in-person and online instruction. There will be an integration of on-campus teaching with online delivery, and that, of course, is going to vary from one course to the next. Some will be entirely online, and others, particularly those like the programs within the Faculty of Sport, will involve, you know, some field, some work in the field. You may have to be on the court, that kind of thing. For some of the regional or international students who may be joining us and may be concerned about the closure of the borders, I want to say as well that the campus, like the rest of the country, continues to be guided by the local authorities on the reopening of our borders. And we continue to monitor as well how our students are going to be affected by this. So you can rest assured if there's information that needs to be shared with you, we will be doing that. So of course you can look out for emails from our admissions teams as well. And for those of you also concerned about on-campus activity, what is on-campus life going to be like? You know, we of course are progressive. We of course are pushing innovation, and whilst we do have the COVID restrictions and physical distancing and of course wearing of the face mask, we are really focused as well on still making sure that you have a rich experience. And so at this time as well, I want to remind you of the other upcoming sessions that we have as part of these virtual open days. So tomorrow we will have the session with the Faculty of Social Sciences, and then during the course of next week we have the Faculty of Food and Agriculture, which is on Monday, the Faculty of Humanities and Education, next week Tuesday, the Faculty of Science and Technology, which takes place on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and on Friday, we end things off with the Faculty of Law. And these sessions also take place from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can find more information online at sta.ue.edu/virtual open day. So we're now gonna get into some of your questions. And I wanna kick things off actually by hearing from our Dean. And we've been talking a lot about the progressive nature of sports and how things are changing. So Dean, I would like you to share, will there be any considerations made to combine e-sport within the university?
Well, firstly, thanks for the many questions, Leslie, coming online. As far as e-sport is concerned, interestingly, St. Augustine was the first academy to address this head on. And the idea was to develop e-sport as part of the Faculty of Sport. So the concept of developing it started many years ago. In fact, we even had an e-sport competition held at UE Spec about 2 years ago, in which we tried to kickstart the whole thing. Now, there are three ways to approach e-sport. One is the actual putting together the e-sport, which is more engineering. I know that the Faculty of Engineering has been talking to us about having some combined work there. The other is the actual computing that goes behind it, which is more from science and technology. And departments of computing throughout the University of the West Indies have been looking at aspects of that. Our job is to combine that into what was really probably the fastest growing sport in the world, which is e-sport. And what we're looking to do is to start programs in e-sports, and hopefully in the future, start competitions in e-sports. And I say that cognizant of the fact that many universities in the US this year are actually offering scholarships for students, sports scholarships in e-sport. So it's very much part of our plan. Can't say that we have a program ready right now, but I think within the next academic year or the following one, you're going to see very integrated programs involving e-sports. So the answer is yes, it's in the focus.
Thank you so much, Dean. And just on that note of scholarships, I know that a lot of our students, particularly in the registration process, where we ask, you know, are there any specific questions you want addressed? Students did ask about scholarship or bursary opportunities. And at this point, I want to welcome our manager in the Financial Advisory Services section of the Division of Student Services and Development, Mrs. Christy Smith, who can share and tell us a little bit more about what are the opportunities in terms of financing, bursaries, scholarships for students interested in sport, and of course the programs under the academy.
Hey, good afternoon, students, to all our prospective candidates and to those Pelicans who are already part of our esteemed institution. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon to share this time with you. I am I'm speaking from the Financial Advisory Services Department. And just to lay some context, this department is located within the Division of Student Services and Development. We are one of 8 departments actually that have been set up to provide non-academic support to you. All right, so today I will directly address the scholarships and bursaries question that came. And so the campus has a few scholarships and bursaries specifically for student athletes, but across the board, there are scholarships and bursaries available to all students. So let me first speak to the sports scholarships. The UE Development and Endowment Fund, some of you may have heard about the UE FET. Some of you may have heard about the golf tournament. These specific events are geared towards raising funds to assist students with scholarships and bursaries. And so the endowment fund every year gives approximately 215 awards. Most of them are, 200 of them are valued at $5,000 each, and 15 of them are valued at 15,000. 10 of them, sorry, are valued at $15,000 each. And so our deputy principal, through his good work, has managed to procure 10 of those awards specifically for student athletes. So in the year 2018, when it was launched, we had the full 10 of students receiving the award. They were in areas including track and field, basketball, table tennis, cricket, swimming, volleyball, cycling, football. And I'm even happy to mention that Brittany Joseph, that Nadra mentioned earlier, she too was one of the recipients of the UE Def bursary. So the opportunities are vast in terms of overall scholarships as well. Right now, we have our continuing students applications open until June 30th. And these awards are privately sponsored awards. They can range from as low as $5,000, which is our baseline, to as high as $20,000 and above. And they're open to all faculties. There are specific terms of reference and criteria that guide some of these awards, and you can find it, of course, in our scholarships and bursaries booklet. Once you go on to our scholarships and bursaries page, which I'm sure the information will come up in the chat for you shortly. So that those awards, those applications are currently open. But we, for the new students coming in September, you wonderful students, you will be afforded the opportunity to apply for scholarships and bursaries between the period August 24th to September 30th. That's the application period for new students. And that also includes applying for those scholarships, those sports-related scholarships, as well as the general scholarships offered by the St. Augustine campus. Just to speak a little bit more directly to the scholarships, the sports scholarships, just to give you an idea of some of the terms of reference that guide our selection process, which is done by a full committee, including faculty representatives, members, of course, from the Faculty of Sport now that we have the great faculty on board. We also have representatives from your Guild of Students. All the donors are present, and the meeting is chaired by our Deputy Principal, Professor Ramnarayan. Now, so in terms of the terms of reference, the eligibility criteria, these awards are open to full-time students, all full-time national and non-nationals who are registered in the St. Augustine campus. The student should earn, this is for the continuing group, should earn a GPA of 3.0. There are cases where we have considered students with a GPA of 2.5 as a minimum, because we understand some of the challenges that may impact your academic life, which may be associated with, you know, the home and life situations. So we cater for that as well. So we're talking about a 3.0 GPA, 2.5 as a minimum. And for those new candidates coming in, we will assess you based on your CAPE results. We also require that you would have participated in an Olympic, International Olympic Committee sport, or any of the recognized world sports. And that, in terms of the Olympic Committee sports, it also includes the two mind sports. So that is also going to be considered. So if you're I think it's a chess player, I can't recall the other one right now, but certainly the two mind sports are included there. I guess my colleagues would be able to assist me further from the faculty. The other qualification speaks to those persons who would have qualified or were selected to compete in a sport at the national level, team level, or individual sport. Those qualified or selected to compete at the national level or team level in individual sporting qualifying trials. Those nominated by the National Sporting Federation, Association, or committee to compete in national, regional, or international levels. Now, we do also include those students who are part of our UE teams, and Ms. Cromwell would have also spoken to that area of getting involved in the UE teams. So that is also an area that you can definitely explore in order to increase your chances of accessing the awards that are available. We also require that you remain active in your sport at least for 1 academic year. These awards are not continuous, they're one-time awards, so you can apply for them annually. As they are offered annually, you apply for them. And once you meet the criteria, the panel will look at all the applicants and determine who best meets the criteria, and then you will be notified of your award. So let me, if you would just permit me a bit more, moderator, just to speak to the value of the award, because I'm seeing some of the students asking, you know, are there full scholarships? Are there scholarships that would probably take you through, pay your tuition and so on? And I just want to say that while the scholarships that we offer may start at a minimum of $5,000, I wish to emphasize that $5,000 in the grand scheme of things can really assist you. We have had students who use the $5,000 to pay their hall fees for a semester. We have had those students who may be living in remote areas or some distance from the campus, use that $5,000 to travel back and forth from the campus. They would have bought sporting equipment using those funds. And I am speaking here directly to the $5,000 minimum. But like I said before, you have the opportunity to apply for other bursaries and other scholarships that are of greater value. And so you can do more as time goes on. And so we really want to urge our students to apply, because it is indeed an opportunity to use your skill and whatever competency you have to earn some much needed finance, especially coming out of this COVID situation. You want to make sure that you know you are financially stable to do some of the things that you need to do to pursue this wonderful program in the Faculty of Sport. Apart from the scholarships and bursaries, our office also deals with financial aid and assistance. So I will just put it out there that there is opportunity if you are in some measure of financial challenge, that you can visit us, you can email us. We are setting up consultations. You can email us to set up an online consultation so that we can hear more about your situation to see how best we can assist you financially. So with that being said, I want to wish you all a great journey as you enter into the University of the West Indies. Please remember that at the Division of Student Services and Development, we are here to support you. We are here to take care of your non-academic life and to ensure that you have a wonderful experience at the UWI St. Augustine campus. So thank you and look forward to welcoming you in September.
Thank you so much, Christy. And as we have you on the floor, we just had one comment from a student that I'd love for you to clarify. And that is, we have someone on who is a mature student, and they're asking, you know, can they apply for these opportunities as a mature student?
Definitely. Once you are a full-time student, so that the scholarships and bursaries are privately sponsored awards. These are the general bursaries and scholarships. And each donor, we work with them to design their terms of reference or their specific eligibility criteria. Most times they require that the student is a full-time student. So in the sense of mature, are you referring to being over the age of 21 or 25? Or are you referring to you being enrolled in a part-time program? So that's the distinguishing feature there, as opposed to being over 25, because all are eligible. There's no age barrier. So certainly I would encourage, once the student is a full-time student, I would encourage the student to apply.
Okay, wonderful. And just one additional question, Christy. We also have students who are differently able and who may be para-athletes. And so can you share a little bit more about, the all-encompassing nature of these scholarship opportunities?
Oh, absolutely. So as my colleague would have mentioned in an earlier open day, Dr. Jackie Huggins, who runs one of our sister departments, we at the University of the West Indies have an all-inclusive approach to most, if not all, our services on the campus. And so for the persons who may be differently abled, you are more than welcome to apply. We don't discriminate on any basis at all. You are just one of the other students, just like everyone else. So please feel free to send in your application, and you will be considered on the merit of the terms of reference that the respective donor requires.
Thank you so much, Christy. And I
Most
think
welcome.
you really gave our participants this evening a lot of information, and the fact that at your department and even overarching in terms of the Division of Student Services, I really think that we want students to understand that we are really catering to them. We understand that they have diverse needs. We understand that, persons are coming to us from different walks of life, but we really want to emphasize that there is a place for everyone here. And so we're really excited to bring in all students on board.
Absolutely. You're most welcome. Thanks for this opportunity to share.
And I want to actually call on one of our other colleagues on the call next, and that is Mr. Nigel Bradshaw, who is our recruitment officer in the admissions department. And so, Nigel, we're getting a lot of questions, particularly from prospects, about the entire process from application to registration. And I'm really hoping that you can shed some insight into the entire process, because of course for some it's a new environment, they need support, it may be a bit confusing. So can you just walk us through in terms of what submitting an application is like?
Okay, good afternoon everyone, good evening everyone. I am Nigel Bradshaw, Student Recruitment Officer at the University of the West Indies. Happy to know that there's so many people interested in our Faculty of Sport and in the University of the West Indies in general. I'm sure that marketing and communication staff will assist me by entering my email address into the chat area for persons that require information beyond the tonight's webinar, so that at any point in time you can get in contact with me for further information about the application process in particular. Let's get into the application process for those of you who may not yet have done so. The University of West Indies St. Augustine website, which is easily found by Googling the website, allows you to be able to start the entire process. What you would need to do, just go in on the menu, the blue box on the right side. You would go to admissions, and then when you enter admissions, you look for the tab saying first time applicants. Hope some of you are following with me as I'm directing you. As soon as you get into first time applicants, the menu is very straightforward to follow from there. You heard about the requirements already for entry into the certificate program or into the degree programs. To start the entire process, you'd want to go to enter into the application process area. You look at the page, and all the hypertext links on the page in the very first paragraph will allow you to be able to view information that is very critical for you to appreciate before you start the application process. I normally request that persons look both at the schematic that is described in the application process for persons to be able to see the 10 points in which the application process will go through. I can highlight them briefly for you now, even though I'm sorry I didn't ask it to be put up on screen. but I can highlight it for you now. It's very straightforward. From the time you start, the application goes through 10 steps, which will include going to the website, creating a username and password of your own choice. Then you start entering a lot of your own demographic information, name, surname, etc., where you live, email addresses, contact information, etc. Then you continue. You would enter information about the programs that you're specifically interested in. I guess because of the fact that we're dealing with sports, some of the programs you might choose from would be sport kinetics or sport coaching, sport management, or the art and science of coaching. You could actually apply for up to 4 programs at this point in time, okay? We want to emphasize everyone in this webinar should be applying for programs in the Faculty of Sport. At the end of entering that information, you submit the application by hitting submit. Thereafter, you have a few basic things to do. There's a prompt that gives you a page that will allow you to be able to download, print, and complete your confirmation receipt. Now, your confirmation receipt is an absolutely critical piece of evidence that you have completed the application. And the document that is created when you sign and date it is one of the documents that you must hold on to. You must treat it as good as gold. The next document would be either the form that you download to make the application processing fee. You can pay the application processing fee at any branch of the Republic Bank Limited, or you can pay it online if you have a credit card. The receipt that you get from making the payment is the second document that you must hold on to. We require you to have these documents available to validate your application down the road. Of course, you entered information about your nationality and your basic qualifications. Some of you may not have already received your qualifications. I want you to appreciate this. If you're not yet completed your certificates at CSEC level or at the CAPE level or at any other level, you can apply now based on the fact that you completed those qualifications sometime before the end of August 2020. And then when you complete the application now, when you have your certification, you bring in certified copies of that certification for us, or you email it to us via information sent to your email address, the same email address that you'd have entered on the website, on your application portal. Right, I guess you could see now the information that is being shared on the website. That's where you start the application process itself, right? Last but not least, you must bring in you must upload a certified copy of your birth certificate to validate your nationality. Any qualifications that you have, if it's CSEC or otherwise, you must have the certificate for it, and you make a certified copy of that and upload it as well. If you don't have it at the point in time when the application is finished in the next week or 2, because remember we closed the applications on July the 10th, you will be allowed to upload it when it is made available to you, when it is you receive it from CXC or otherwise. At the end of it all, the registration process will start and you will become a brand new student in the Faculty of Sport at the University of West Indies at the St. Augustine campus, prepared and ready to be participating in everything you heard about today. Remember, if there's anything that seems complex or challenging, I am here for you 24/7, 351 days of the year, because there are 14 public holidays. All right, you don't email me on public holidays, email me at any other time, and you will be able to get a response in 48 hours or less. Right? We do look forward to welcoming all of you that intend to become students of the Faculty of Sport in a very short time. And I'm here to assist you through the process. Do take care and continue to enjoy the evening.
Thank you so much, Nigel, because I know for many of our prospects, the actual application process could be a bit daunting. And so, you know, there are a number of documents, there are a number of steps to go through. And so I know that many of them really appreciate the support So I want to, of course, make a special plug here to those who may have further questions, who want to have certain things clarified, to use the email address provided for Mr. Bradshaw. He is there to help you through the process. And, you know, of course, anyone from the team here as well, from the academy, can also provide some insight and guidance. And so you really have a full team behind you as you apply and, of course, as you become a new student. And with that in mind as well, I actually want to call on Professor Iagina, because we're getting a number of questions as well about GATE, which for our Trinidad and Tobago nationals is actually one of our government programs to support funding for tertiary education. So Professor Iagina, can you tell us if the programs are GATE approved, what is the status of that, and what can students anticipate as they apply and as they enter?
Thank you, Christine. The Arts and Science of Coaching is GATE approved, but the 2-degree programs are self-financing as at this moment. Know that the registry had started the process of doing the necessary administrative paperwork to send to the government to request that they be GATE approved. But until that process is finished, those 2-degree programs are self-financing.
Thank you, Professor. Just one additional question for you as we have you here. We have a student asking if does the UWI recognize degree credits from other universities, example UTT?
If they want to transfer to you, if we recognize their credits?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely assess whatever they are coming with, and we see how they match up with what we have, and they can ask for credit exemption on that basis. But it has to be assessed on a case by case.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Professor Iagina. I would like to just call on Nigel one more time as we've been talking about GATE and applying as well. And we have one question from a student who is asking in terms of the registration, the application fee. Nigel, I know that fee has actually been waived for this period. Can you clarify that for us?
Yes, that is correct. From May 29th of this year, of this application period, generally because of the fact that we knew that there would be financial difficulties associated with the circumstances arising out of the COVID-19 lockdown and quarantine situations, the campus registrar allowed for the discontinuation of the payment of the application processing fee, which is 90 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Persons from Trinidad and Tobago or applying with an address from Trinidad and Tobago would normally have paid $90 TT. I know I did mention it, thank you for bringing it up, Christine, but definitely the fee has been waived. So persons applying who have not yet made the applications, you would be granted the benefit of not having to pay the application processing fee anymore.
Thank you, Nigel. Thanks for clarifying. And at this point, I'm seeing a question here that I think Mr. Ganga can respond to. I have a student one of our prospects, asking if one is interested in completing the BSc in sport kinetics, what are the possible job opportunities?
Well, what I can say is, I mean, Professor Iagina will tell you about the modules within that program. You know, kinetics is all about reactions, right? In sport, it is so apt, especially when you go to the elite level, it's all about attention to detail. So I would say that this will give you a little bit of a niche in whatever field that you embark upon. At the end of the day, there are minimum standards for you acquiring certain positions in sport. It's an area of study that could be worthwhile. In sports science today, you can easily transition and use that, you know, from a coaching perspective as well. It's always good to have a wide and vast body of knowledge in sport because it gives you a different perspective on everything sport. So I would say use that bachelor's degree as a stepping stone, because through the process, you would realize that you discover other areas in sport that you may want to veer off in. So that is my advice to someone. I don't know, Prof, you would want to probably elaborate a little bit further?
Definitely. To just add that and then after I finish, I would like the dean to also come in from, because of his own vantage point as somebody in the medical field. Our graduates from that degree can do a number of things. They can teach, because sport is going to become more and more important in the world, because a lot of communities, a lot of societies, a lot of nations are investing a lot in the wellness of the individual. And people who do that degree will be able to go out there and help to coach people either collectively or individually. So coaching is there, teaching is there. And then one area that I think we often forget is that the tools that athletes use have to be designed. And when they are designed by people who do not have an understanding of sport, they are not likely to give the athletes the best fit. So a student of sports kinetics who understands the science of movement, who understands the science of the human body, will be able to design, whether it is a sweatshirt or shoes or whatever the athlete needs to fit their specific requirement and the requirement of the area of the world where they are operating in. Are they in a temperate zone? Are they in a very hot zone, and so on and so forth? So that, as you rightly said, the knowledge that is acquired from a degree like that will be very useful for that kind of field and for dealing with life. And I think I also want to stress and underscore the fact that any of our degree as a university is also a tool to prepare you for dealing with life, adaptability to life. Because when things happen like COVID-19, all of us now have to adapt to life. And it is not going to be necessarily just because of the maths that we did or the language that we did, but because of the critical thinking ability that we have acquired. That is going to be the primary thing that is going to help us to survive in life. So education for survival is one of the things that a lot of our degrees in the faculty would like to inculcate in our graduates. So I hope when that student comes at the end of that degree, he will be both competent in sports kinetics and competent in the art and science of life.
Thank you. And Dean, I don't know if you have any additional comments all along the lines of careers and the outlook.
Yes, I'd like to just address a few of the questions all in one, starting from the admissions going straight up, because I saw a question there about recognizing city and guilds matriculation and degrees and so on. And just to point out that as of 2018, the University of the West Indies accepts or has approved the city and guilds English and mathematics qualifications for lower level matriculation to UWI. So we'll start from the matriculation and move our way up. Unfortunately, no university in the world can guarantee jobs for their graduates afterwards. What we do is try to get you in the best position possible to make you employable. And as far as that is concerned, the University of the West Indies, I think, has excelled over 72 years or 73 years in the region. When it comes to sports, there are two or three things. If you look around at the highest level of sports in the Caribbean, you'll notice that there are a lot of people who are in charge of those positions who may not be from the region. I'll give you an example. In sports medicine, the entire top-notch sports coverage was done by either people from outside of the region, or it was done from people who are not qualified to do sports medicine as a practitioner. When we started this program of sports medicine, way back in 2006, it was to produce a caliber of sports medicine physicians and later physiotherapists to serve a need of the athletes. And now the top doctors and physiotherapists of everything from West Indies cricket to national teams around the region to the Olympics, etc., are all graduates of that program. Similarly, when you talk about sport kinetics, what you'll be able to do is to carry sports science to a higher level so that whoever you're advising, be it at a school level, be it at a teaching capacity, be it at advising teams, etc., you can apply the biomechanics, some knowledge of sports psychology, as you heard from our student a while ago, applied sports science into your advice to the person. Now, having the bachelor's will put you in good stead in getting certain jobs, but we do have postgraduate programs, and I saw another question about postgraduate programs. So whereas at St. Augustine right now, it's really at a bachelor's level, the Faculty of Sport does have master's degrees in sports kinetics, sports coaching, sports biomechanics, strength and conditioning, along with the double degree I mentioned before in sports science, all of which hopefully will be coming to St. Augustine soon. So what that does is take you to a higher level of specialization, so you can then focus on biomechanics, or you can then focus on sports psychology in a particular way, etc. And that obviously will open your niche even more and make you more into a specialist. Just carrying on along the postgraduate opportunities, we do have MPhil and PhD programs available. And we do have Trinidadians enrolled in it. Now, unfortunately, it's not out of the St. Augustine campus yet, but it doesn't mean that you can't enroll from Trinidad. So we actually have a Trinidadian right now doing their PhD in gender involvement in secondary school sports in Trinidad and Tobago. So what that means is that he's looking at all the factors that involve the involvement of different genders and their participation in sport going forward. Now, when this person gets their doctorate, they will have a high chance of getting a job in the education field that they're already employed to, both as a lecturer and as an advisor to government. We have another person doing their PhD in biomechanics, and we've earmarked that person to become our biomechanics expert, hopefully for Cricket West Indies, because that's something that there's a shortage of. We also have shortage of biomechanists for sprinting, for field events, for football, for hockey, for netball. So lots of opportunities there. The third person doing their PhD is actually an ex-West Indies cricketer, not Daren Ganga, who is looking at the economic impact of CPL to the Caribbean. And they're looking more from a sports economics point of view. And obviously when they're finished, they're going to be consultants to advise on events and its impact both to the government and to private sector. So what we're doing is creating a niche of people for jobs that right now don't exist or are occupied by people from outside of the region or are occupied by people who are not really qualified to be performing at that level. And what we found is that whenever we produce graduates of this caliber, it gives them jobs, yes, but it also raises the profile of the job. And so other people demand degree holders to fulfill their functions because they realize it's a different caliber than what they have. So whereas I can't directly say that you're going to get job A or B because that's not what universities do, what I will tell you is that you will have a top-notch degree. As Daren Ganga had pointed out earlier, the UWI is in the top 4 percentile of universities in the world, and that carries a lot of weight.
Thank you so much, Dean. And you've really given us a really clear outlook, because a lot of times, many of our prospects may just be thinking of the more practical side of sports in terms of being involved with a particular sport as a coach or working with a team. But you've really given us a really deep understanding of the real outlook in terms of sport research and the need for that in our region, because of course, we can appreciate that an institution like ours at UWI, we really want to be at the forefront of Caribbean thought and expertise as well. So thank you so much for that.
And Christine, if I can just add one last thing, that there are 3 major verticals that we have. And so we've spoken about sports science, sports coaching from a bachelor's to a master's and higher. We also have a vertical in sports management, not all through the St. Augustine, but I'm just making it open to the students. So you can actually do a BSc in sports and business management out of the Open campus, an MSc in sports and business management out of the Mona campus, and move your way up that way. We also have verticals in sports medicine. Somebody had asked a question about physiotherapy. And I just want to point out that physiotherapy right now is taught by the Faculty of Medical Sciences. And as far as I know, it's only in Jamaica. I know that St. Augustine was trying to start it. I don't think it's quite there. But to carry it to a higher level, the Faculty of Sport offers a master's in sports and exercise medicine for physiotherapists, along with a separate master's for doctors. and a separate master's for strength and conditioners. So we do carry the sports side of it to a higher level, but physiotherapy as a BSc is still done through the Faculty of Medical Sciences at Mona.
Chair, if I may, just to follow on with what the Dean mentioned, if you look at the other spectrum, the Faculty of Sport is also engaging in professional programs and workshops, which will probably pique your interest. I just want to signal to everyone that we have a sport broadcasting workshop, which will be coming online very soon. And I think this is an exciting area of sport for many of you who are quite keen to get yourself involved in broadcasting. This is the ideal platform for you to start wetting your feet, so to speak, in terms of what the protocols are, to understand the sport consumer, which is out there in the different markets, and the protocols involved in you grooming yourself into broadcasting. So that is something that you can look forward to. And the Faculty of Sport is trying its utmost best to build capacity from the ground up and across the board. We spoke about our bachelor's programs, our master's programs. We also have those professional courses that you can participate in. Those are generally 4 weeks to 6 weeks that you can dedicate your time, earn yourself a certificate and use it to your advantage and make yourself more marketable.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daren, and thanks to the Dean, of course, for sharing. I actually would like to call on Ria in terms of, we have some questions here for students who want to understand particularly the class size. So Ria, can you tell us on average, what is the class size of our intake?
Our maximum students would be a number of 30. Right now, we don't have that many, but we are inviting as many people to apply. We are prepared to take up to 30.
Okay, wonderful. And Nadra, I have a question here coming from one of our participants who's asking, are there any collaborative events with the other UE campuses? Are there tournaments possibly across the region? I think they're looking into maybe opportunities in sport for particularly those who may be a student athlete.
Okay, well, the big thing for us is the UE Games. We would have gone to Jamaica last year and participated. We would have placed second as the St. Augustine campus. Now, we were supposed to have the UE Games on our campus next year, but I'm not sure what will happen in terms of the COVID protocol and in following the public health guidelines. So that is something that the students definitely look forward to when they become students, the UE Games, student games. The sporting teams, the various sporting teams do get invited to tournaments locally and regionally as well. I could say for the women's cricket team, they received 2 invites to participate in a tournament in Canada. So there is the opportunity to be on display to show your talent for the students.
Wonderful, thank you. And I want to throw this one out to the panel, as I'm not sure who may want to take this, but this is a question on specifically for student athletes. And one of our participants wants to know what kind of academic concessions are made for the unique demands of a student athlete. Would that be Prof, or would that be Ria or Nadra? Any of you want to take that question?
What we do is that we make sure that athletes who have to be away on assignment, that we make arrangement for them to receive their classes, to get extra support when they come back. And I know that it is across the board in the faculty, because in Jamaica the same thing is the case, in Barbados the same thing is the case. So we make every effort to put systems in place to facilitate athletes who have to be away on duty.
Wonderful, and I know that we have had a number of student athletes who are current students. We've had those who have graduated in the past, and so there are a lot of examples you can look to. I know I remember distinctly when J.V. Gordon graduated, and that was very much a collaborative effort of the persons within his faculty as well as administration to rally behind him as he was able to compete in his his sporting discipline as well as graduate with first class honors. So, I want to reassure our participants as well that if you are a student athlete, if you do have, particular demands that come along with competing in your sport, we are willing to work with you to put arrangements in place, as Prof. Iagina would have mentioned, to make sure that, you can balance the two. You can complete your studies as well as be dedicated to your discipline. So thank you again, Prof. I would like to actually call on Nigel from our admissions team once more. I have a question here in terms of transferring credits. So we have one of our prospects asking, I heard about credits transfer. If I have an associate's degree in architecture, can credits from that program be considered for one of the bachelor programs? Nigel, are you able to share a bit more on that?
Come again, Christy?
Sure. This is a student who has an associate's degree, and so they're asking if it's possible for that associate's degree qualification to be recognized through the application process to be able to apply for one of our bachelor's degree programs.
Okay, I definitely hope that the person will be applying for one of our sports degrees based on everything we've been discussing this evening. But it's just to clarify the issue for everyone listening. The University of West Indies allows for persons to matriculate at you heard Dean talking about it just now. There's lower level matriculation, higher level matriculation. The associate degree would be considered higher level matriculation, especially if it comes from an accredited body or institution. It will be considered high level matriculation for entry directly into degree study. Generally, GPA performance is a key indicator for if the person will be also allowed to enter. And we look generally at 2.75 GPAs and higher for most of our degree programs on campus. We are a bit specific outside of the Faculty of Sport, the Faculty of Law, and the Faculty of Social Sciences. Other faculties tend to require a bit more specificity in the types of higher level matriculations that they would like to see applicants having, but that's generally it with respect to attending to the needs of that student, that applicant.
Thank you so much, Nigel. And I see we have a question here for one of our other student services on the note of accommodation. So I would like to call on Christy once more. Christy, we have a question from a prospect asking about accommodation. Is there on-campus accommodation for students?
Okay, thank you, Christine. And of course, my pleasure to respond. I'll speak on behalf of one of our other associated departments in the Division of Student Services and Development, which is the Accommodations Office and the Halls of Residence. That office is managed by Mr. Kevin Snaggs and his great team who take care of our students while on hall. And to give you a better idea of dorm life, which we want to encourage you, once you have the opportunity to really experience dorm life here at the St. Augustine campus, we have 5 halls of residence. 4 of them are co-ed and 1 is an all-female hall. 1 is located at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex and caters to our med-sci students and those in that faculty of medical sciences. And the others are located on and around our physical St. Augustine main campus. So for those students who are interested in coming to one of our halls, you can feel free to contact UWI Halls at sta.uwi.edu, and I'm sure it will come up in the chat shortly. Just to give you a bit more insight, our halls are both single and double occupancy. They have, like I said, over 200 rooms basically in each hall, approximately 1,300 rooms overall. There is round-the-clock security because I know some students, both locally and regionally, once you get in, once the borders are open and you're able to come in, I know that you will have some concern over security. So let me speak to security generally, if I may. Security in terms of that police control, in terms of that physical presence, is round the clock at all halls. But we also want to just touch a bit on the COVID-related situation, because I know some students may have those concerns given the recent pandemic. Just want to assure you that the halls, together with the division and the campus and relevant campus management, are making the necessary provisions to ensure that we are COVID compliant on the halls, so that you are safe when you come onto the halls. And more information will come out in the coming days regarding the safety and the precautionary measures that the halls of residence and the manager and so on will put in place to ensure your safety when you arrive on hall. Also to say that you have an opportunity. I mean, we always talk about students taking leadership roles and getting involved. When you are on the hall, you have an opportunity to apply to become one of the hall assistants. And so you take that leadership role, you may be able to also get a little extra income. And so these are some of the perks of being on hall, apart from being part of that regional culture, sharing with your regional brothers and sisters on the hall, experiencing the vast array of different cultures, different experiences, different food, making friends when you're finished on hall. You have a friend in every Caribbean territory and internationally. So, you know, I really want to encourage students, once you are interested and once you can, to maximize the opportunity to come on hall. And like I said, for more information, you can feel free to email Mr. Kevin Snaggs and his team, uehalls@sta.uwi.edu. Just to close off, I'd just say that in terms of the payments, the halls accept payments you can stay on the hall per academic year. You can pay for the academic year. You can pay by semester. And the halls have also implemented a payment plan to ease the financial constraints that some of our students may face from time to time. As well, there is a $250 non-refundable application fee for processing, and from there they work out the other fees for you. So I hope this adequately answers the question. Please feel free to message if you need more information.
Thank you so much, Christy. I think all participants would really appreciate that information, and I know that specific email addresses and perhaps links to our website are being shared in the chat. So I want to encourage our participants to take note of that information as well. And, you know, again, reminding that if ever you have any additional questions, please reach out to anyone on our team. We are standing by to, of course, support and give any information that may be missing. So thanks again. At this point, I really want to, I'm looking at the time and I know we're starting to wind down a bit, and so I really want to thank all of our participants who have been with us for the session this evening. I would like to ask Ria once again to just remind us of the programs that are on offer, give us some of the details in terms of the application. I want to remind our participants that the application deadline is July 10th. So you have just about 2 weeks again to make sure that you submit your application. So Ria, you want to just remind us of the programs on offer?
We are offering the Certificate in the Arts and Science of Coaching. That is a one-year program being delivered over 3 semesters. There are 2 BSc programs, Sport Kinetics and Sport Coaching. These are available both full-time and part-time. Part-time, it would be 5 years, and full-time 3 years.
Wonderful, thank you. And Dean, I want to invite you at this point to just wrap us up, give us your closing thoughts, give us some words of advice for our prospective students. And while we wait for the Dean to come in, of course, I just want to remind our prospects that, of course, in addition to the persons on this call, you can reach out to our undergraduate admissions team, either via Mr. Bradshaw or via their emails, which have been shared earlier. And of course, for our postgraduate section, you can also reach out to them at pgapply@sta.ue.edu. That's their email. So Dean?
Yeah, sorry about that. There was a little glitch in the technology. Just to wrap up, I'd just like to thank everybody for having not only attended, but participated through their questions and some very, very good questions as well. Just to highlight that sport is one of the fastest growing fields, not just for participants, but people involved in sport. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, which is just spreading all around the world with opportunities from, as you heard, e-sport right down to actually playing sport, and from studying sport to actually being a practitioner in sport. In the Caribbean, I think by and large, we've been ahead of the curve as far as performing sport is concerned, but perhaps we're not on par when it comes to all the other support that's needed. And here's an opportunity for persons with an interest in sport to actually pursue their passion in any form and fashion related to sport. And so it's an exciting time for sport. The Faculty of Sport, because of its regionality, offers a lot of opportunities within the region and allows you to intermingle with people from around the world. And with people like Daren Ganga that you heard from today, who's one of our world personalities, Grace Jackson, a Jamaican Olympian, silver medalist who is at St. Augustine itself, to the students who are in the Faculty of Sport, inclusive of many first-class cricketers, inclusive of the top discus thrower in the world for the last 2 years, and for the opportunities you have to compete against. I was in Guadeloupe the other day, and a young hurdler, a young boy, was talking about how excited he was for going to France and competing with somebody who came fourth in the world. And I said, well, you know, if you come to the English-speaking Caribbean, you can compete against the Olympic champion. So the opportunities you have, both in what you can compete against, what you can achieve, are probably not seen by any other faculty around the region. So I urge you, if you have any thoughts at all, re-engage anybody that you heard from today, and we look forward to seeing you in the Faculty of Sport.
Thank you so much, Dean. And of course, to our participants who have joined us this evening, you know, there were a lot of great questions being asked. I hope that we were able to address your concerns at this session. You will receive an email from us where we'll share a lot of the links that were placed in the chat, some additional information about the programs, and of course of the faculty. So if there's anything that you would like to know, you can of course use that email as a key resource. And of course, if you're interested in learning about any of the other faculties at the St. Augustine campus, I invite you to join us at any of the other virtual open days that we have coming up. We continue tomorrow with the Faculty of Social Sciences and continue straight to next week, Friday. So you can find out more about these sessions at sta.ue.edu/virtualopenday. So thank you so much again for being with us this evening. It's been my distinct pleasure to host you. And from all of us at the St. Augustine campus, we look forward very much to welcoming you, and we invite you to be UE. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Christine.